Unisa says it's now investigating another cheating scandal that has seen the online invigilator system flagging more than 15,000 possible cases of cheating. Students say they weren't told about the problems when they finished their exams, while Unisa has said when it moved from venue exams, physical exams, to online exams, there was an increase in cases of potential cheating. Asive Dlangwa is a spokesperson at the SA Union of Students. Asive, good afternoon to you. Do you believe students have been cheating at Unisa in large numbers?
Good afternoon to you, Stephen, your viewers and your listeners. We can't say with certainty whether students have been cheating or not, up until obviously conclusive investigation would be done to determine that. But have there been allegations of cheating at Unisa? Yes, there has been, and it's probably not the first time that such a scandal or seemingly a crisis of cheating is reported. So there has been allegations, grave allegations at that, regarding cheating at Unisa, particularly as it pertains to their exams.
I mean, obviously an online system, I hate to say this, it's probably easier to cheat in an online system than it is if you've actually got someone watching you in a physical hall. I mean, that would seem to make sense to me.
Yes, Stephen, it would, most probably, because especially if the institution would not have necessarily invested in technology that will, at the best, to the best possible extent, ensure that they limit the ability of students to cheat. But as a matter of principle and fact, you are correct. It would most probably be definitely easier to attempt to cheat when you're alone in your room than you would sitting in a hall where there are invigilators walking around and cameras watching you as you write.
So, I mean, there are different things here. The easiest way to resolve this, I mean, there's a large number of people who have been accused of cheating, would be for people to take their exams again, start the whole process again. Now, that's obviously traumatic for the students. They have other things they need to do. It would probably resolve it. Would you accept that kind of outcome?
Two things must happen, Stephen. The first one is that we must be able to get to the bottom of the allegations, and not purely just for the 15,000 students that are affected, but also for the credibility of the qualifications at Unisa and generally all our institutions in South Africa. So we have to get to the bottom of this, and those that have indeed would be found to have cheated, action must be taken against those. We would obviously appreciate, as other institutions would do, each institution deals with it differently, a situation where the students are given another chance to write or some level of penalties. So two things, as we are saying, must happen. We must get to the bottom of this so that we protect the academic integrity of Unisa, and not only for the students that are affected, but for the other 400,000 students that are registered at Unisa. Secondly, obviously the students that are affected, there must be some sort of recourse, but also, as you say, as you suggested, that maybe they write again. But we're not going to enforce on the institution what they must do to the students, as particularly those that have been found to have cheated, because if we seek to protect that minority, we would risk casting aspersions on the broader credibility of the qualifications at Unisa, affecting all other students, those that studied there in the past and those that are studying there currently. So I think those are the two things that need to happen, Stephen, as a matter of principle.
The invigilation system, I don't know how it works. It's online, clearly. Do you believe that it's effective? I mean, does Unisa have the right technology in the right place?
Unisa says it's effective. The students who are affected say it's not. We have to find some level of congruence and equilibrium. There has been reports from, I think last year or 2 years back, the students reporting that the system either had not been user-friendly or was not responding in the manner in which they had been briefed by the institution that it would. For instance, you will have in the institution, the students say they would have written their exams with the system on, and the system would not have flagged anything. They would have carried on with the examination. They would have submitted. Everything would have been fine. Only up until when they received their marks, they would be told that they would have cheated. So it is clear that something might be wrong with the system, but we can't say the system is ineffective. We don't have evidence to that effect. And another thing you must understand is that Unisa, as I say, I think it has over 400,000 students that are registered. We are dealing with 15,000. So probably if the system had been faulty altogether, we should be having way more than 15,000 students that are affected. That is not even 10% of the students that are registered with Unisa, for instance. So the point that we are making is that if there are issues, let them be dealt with, but we do not have any evidence to the effect that the system does not work. Probably there could have been outliers and exceptions, but we think if the system probably had been collapsing, we believe that quite a number of other students would have been affected because we are sitting now with, obviously, as I say, less than 10% of students that are seemingly affected.
The Unisa degree is obviously very different. You do it by correspondence. I know there'll be study groups that meet physically. Obviously, it depends on the qualification that you're doing. A lot has changed around education, particularly online education, in the last 5-6 years. Do you think the Unisa degree is as valuable as the universities that have physical campuses? We still see, of course, the majority of young people would rather go to a physical campus, and we see this every year.
It's very valuable, Stephen, and this is one of the reasons why we want to get to the bottom of this and that it's concluded, because the reality is that the traditional bricks and mortar institutions, there is not enough and sufficient capacity. You get more or less about over 600,000 NSC candidates that qualify to go to institutions of higher learning, with institutions only being able to take to 190,000 students per year that are first time entering, in contrast to the 600 to 700,000 qualifying applicants. You will get in an institution having over 500,000 applications, whilst they can only admit 6,000. So it has value. There are many graduates who have graduated at Unisa who have gone on to become consummate professionals across various industries in South Africa. So that is valuable. Who would not have been able to access brick and mortar traditional institutions based on their incapacity to absorb anyone. And also, when we look into the future, we realize that we might not necessarily have enough investment as a country to be able to build as many institutions as we want. So the flexibility and the access that is created by Unisa and generally distance learning is one that we must invest in, is one that we must protect, because the plan and Stephen, is that we must broaden access to higher education in South Africa, and we can't do that through only bricks and mortar institutions. So it is valuable. It must carry on to be valuable. It must be protected, because whether we like it or not, it is not only the current, but it is also the future in terms of ensuring that we broaden access, particularly for the students of the poor and the working class.
Asive Dlangwa, thank you. Spokesperson of the SA Union of Students, to appreciate the time.